Hi guys. What we're looking at today is the respiratory system, and our objective for today is that you'll be able to tell, list, label, and define the main parts of the respiratory system. Pretty much just a review from yesterday, but speaking of review, let's go back. Okay. Your essential question. What is the function of the respiratory system and how does it work together with the circulatory system to help us breathe? Your answer. The function of the respiratory system is to bring the oxygen to the body and to remove waste. We learned that the respiratory system works with the circulatory system, which carries oxygen to the cells and carries away waste. By the way, O2 equals oxygen and CO2 equals carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is the waste. Now, that's not like waste from our digestive system. That's like it's like old air that our body has to run back through the heart and the lungs to get us back to new air, oxygen. Our lungs take O2 from the air that we breathe and it puts it into our blood. Then the blood carries oxygen to all parts of our bodies. Day 2, let's begin. Respiratory system. Objective, you'll be able to tell, list, label, and define the main parts of the respiratory system. Essential question, what are the main parts of the respiratory system? Tell what each part is. Give a brief definition. Label each part on a diagram. Okay, let's review. Here we've got the nose. The nose cleans, moistens, and warms the air as it is inhaled. The trachea, aka the windpipe, is also called the windpipe. Excuse me. The larynx uses its sphincter to protect lower airway from the intrusion of liquid and food into the trachea. The lungs. The lungs are the main organs of the respiratory system, and then here we have our air sacs. Those little purple things on the end, you see them all going all the way around. Oxygen and carbon dioxide pass through the thin walls of the sacs into the blood. And then down here, this dome-shaped area, this muscle moves up and down when you inhale and you exhale. All right, so here's how it works, the parts and the functions. The air first passes through the nose or the mouth, so we're breathing in, okay? So it passes through the nose or the mouth. This can also be the nasal cavity or the sinus cavity, and it goes down through the windpipe, which filters, moistens, and regulates the temperature of the air that we breathe. The walls of our nose are lined with tiny hair and mucus, which filter foreign particles out of the inhaled air. Then we have the trachea, this part right here, or the windpipe. It's covered with the epiglottis. I remember when I was learning about this when I was your age, I used to love to say epiglottis. Epiglottis is a thin layer of tissue that prevents food and liquids from entering the larynx or the pharynx. The trachea is divided into two parts. There's one and there's two to each. It goes to each part of each of the lungs. The trachea is divided into two main tubes called the bronchi, which subdivided into bronchioles responsible for carrying air from the trachea to the lungs. Each lobe of the lungs is surrounded by membranes called pleura, which separate the lungs from the chest wall. Human lungs are made up of connected tubules, which transport oxygen to trillions of cells in our bodies. Our lungs have 5 lobes, 3 lobes in the right lung and 2 in the left. They are supported and protected by the ribs. The left lung, so this lung right here, it's actually smaller to allow space for the heart. The lobes in both lungs are filled with small spongy sacs called alveoli. This is where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place through diffusion. This explains how with every breath that we take, the blood is loaded with oxygen, and when we exhale, waste products like carbon dioxide are expelled. At the bottom of the lungs, let's go back down here and look at our diaphragm, is a dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm, right in here. It controls breathing and separates the chest and abdominal cavities. Our diaphragm facilitates the rising and the falling of our chest. So when you see your chest go up, you can say, my diaphragm is going up. Breathing out, diaphragm's going down. Breathing in, diaphragm's going up. Breathing out, diaphragm is going down. During inhaling, lung volume increases as the rib cage expands while the diaphragm contracts and moves down. When the exhaling or the expiration, lung volume decreases as the rib cage reacts while the diaphragm relaxes and moves up. In order to achieve pulmonary ventilation, the respiratory system needs to use a negative pressure system and contraction of muscles at the same time. For the next assignment, you'll label the parts of the respiratory system and match it to its definition. So all that you'll do, and the assignment is attached, is you will list which part you'll label, which part matches.